If these vibrant pumpkins look like they took some expensive supplies, then guess again. These were actually made with crayons. You do have to take extra time to layer the color, but lucky for us, yellow and orange work really well together. Follow along with me and I'll show you exactly how to do it. Hi, my name's Kathy, and I've been teaching kids how to draw for over 20 years now. You know, my favorite thing to do is to show students that when you take things one step at a time, learning how to draw just might be easier than you think. Once again, the only supplies you need to make this project are a sheet of drawing paper, a pencil, black marker, and crayons. You may also find a link to a free step-by-step tutorial in the description below. Also, just in case you're new, I always recommend adding center pencil guidelines on your paper before you begin your project. They're also on all my tutorials, so they really help you see where to put your pencil. Let's begin our drawing with a large circle for that large pumpkin in the background. I'm going to make some marks to plan how tall and how wide I want it to be, and then I'm very lightly going to connect those marks with a curved line. Some of these lines may be erased later, so try to draw lightly. It'll make it a much easier thing to do. Now we can do the same thing for the smaller pumpkin that's sitting lower and to the left. So plan it out and then lightly connect those marks with a light line, because some of this may be erased afterwards too. The third circle on the right is kind of a medium-sized one, so plan it with some marks and then again draw lightly to make a line that connects those and creates like a medium-sized circle. Now we definitely want those smaller pumpkins to look like they're in front of the larger one, so you need to erase any lines that are inside either one of those, the small and the medium-sized circle. Now it's time to add a stem to each pumpkin. I'm going to draw one for the largest pumpkin that's kind of peeking outside of the circle a bit, and then erasing the line inside. Then I'll move down and draw a stem for the medium pumpkin that's kind of inside, so it looks like the pumpkin's rotated towards us, and then another one on the smallest pumpkin like you see me doing here. After the stems are in place, it's easier to add the section lines. So start with your pencil on the stem and draw lines down that are slightly curved, but following the shape of the edge of the pumpkin too. I'm adding about 6 here, mostly in front, and then a few that are kind of showing from the back. The same thing needs to happen for the large pumpkin, so draw curved lines that go from the stem to the bottom. The ones in front are longer, and then the 2 in the back are shorter. We don't see very much of them. Now, if you're just learning to draw, you could stop here and your pumpkins will look fine, but if you'd like to add more definition, then watch how I'm doing that to the large pumpkin on the top. I'm just making those curved lines stick out a little bit more, and after I have those in place, then I'm erasing the smooth circle line inside. It takes a little more time, but it does make the pumpkins look a lot more real. Now, if you're just learning to draw, you could stop here and your pumpkins will look fine, but if you'd like to add more definition, then watch how I'm doing that to the large pumpkin on the top. I'm just making those curved lines stick out a little bit more, and after I have those in place, then I'm erasing the smooth circle line inside. It takes a little more time, but it does make the pumpkins look a lot more real. Here's another example that might be easier to see. I'm going to make the bottom edge of those sections on that small pumpkin kind of curve down a bit, and when I'm done, I'm going to erase the smooth circle lines there too. Alright, if you think you understand the process now, then let's add curved lines to that medium pumpkin. Just go from section line to section line, making that edge puff out a little bit, and then carefully erasing the smooth circle line inside when you're done. Like I said, it takes more time, but your pumpkins will look much more dimensional with these extra shapes added. I'm going to finish off by adding a horizon line and a couple of puffy clouds in the background, but please feel free to add more details if you'd like. Now that the pencil drawing is done, let's trace all those lines with a black marker so we can see those dimensional shapes really well. When the tracing is done, don't forget to take a moment to erase any pencil lines that are still showing. It really does make your drawing look so much neater. Now comes the first layer of color. We're going to start with our yellow crayon and fill in those section shapes, but leave a little bit of white space on either side. Press hard so that it's very dark in the center. And once you have the center that's dark, then try to add a softer edge of yellow on either side. Here's another example to watch. I'm going to start by pressing hard for the center of this section. And once I have that dark yellow, then I'm going to use a little lighter pressure to make it softer on either side. Continue repeating this step until every section of all 3 pumpkins is filled in. All right, I'm going to show you the orange layer in 2 steps. I'm using a dark orange crayon and coloring right over that section line and pressing really hard from the top to the bottom. It's okay if it looks kind of like a stripe for the moment. Now take that same crayon and go back and add a softer edge on both sides of that orange. So you should start to see a nice soft transition of yellow to orange. Here's another optional step. If you'd like to soften the yellow, you can take that orange crayon and lightly color on top of the yellow on all of those pumpkins. It will make things look more like the pumpkins on the left. Please do keep in mind though that this is totally an optional step. You should decide which version of color you like best. Okay, there are only a few more things to color, like the green stems and the green grass, and of course the blue sky. Here's another look at my finished drawing. I do think that pumpkins are perfect for teaching how to make a circle look like a sphere, and then how to add dimension with color too. You just can't go wrong when you make pumpkin art. If you check out my website, Art Projects for Kids, you'll find more fall projects like learning how to draw leaves and a fall tree. I hope you try those projects out too and that you keep on drawing. See you next time.